what's up, everybody? It's week 2. Where's my camera? Week 2 in the NFL, and we are back. It's Delray Boston, Sean Weymouth. It's Maddish like a radish. Lee, my man, here, and we're going to talk about some DFS values going into week 2 that we found on DraftKings mainly. But before we do, of course, week 1 was extremely exciting. That game with the Ravens and the Raiders just set the tone, I think, for the rest of the season. Unbelievable Monday Night Football game. Lee, how was your week 1?
My week 1 went like the Philadelphia Eagles and Atlanta Falcons game went, at least here. I was way too tied into Atlanta, and that burned the crap out of me. Outside of that, fantasy was wonderful. I won every game in all 5 leagues that I'm in, so that was wonderful. But DFS, I got burned by Matt Ryan. Oh, Matt Ryan. He killed me.
You know, it's interesting they say that. We had a little contest between us if we can refresh everyone's memory.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, we went up against each other. You put in a lineup. I put in a lineup. The Millie Maker there and on DraftKings. We didn't win $1 million, but one of us did win, right?
Yes.
So let's
one
take
of
a
us
look.
did.
Let's take a look at which one of us. When you see this pop up, you tell me whose lineup this is. It's going to be a fun little trivia game here. So let's see. Let's see whose lineup is this right here.
Well, that's a lot of snowflakes. That's got to be me.
Yes, that is
that's me.
That is your lineup, which you told me was going to beat me in this DraftKings contest. I want to double check here, and you're winning nothing here.
Yeah, nothing. No.
So Matt Ryan, if you have him in a season-long league, I'm very scared for you. But he looked terrible. The
Drop City.
The Atlanta Falcons looked terrible. Let's see. James Robinson had a tough game, believe it or not, crazy as it is, against Houston, who everyone thought was garbage, but against Jacksonville looked like legitimate studs. Raheem Mostert for all his braggadociousness on social media. Hey, I'm good. Even his girlfriend was talking about it. He's flexing. I'm good. 2 plays, and he's out of there. I had the same problem in my lineup, so I'm not going to bag any too much. The one smart move you made, the 2 smart moves, I guess, right there. Debo Samuel, absolutely dominant in week 1. Brandon Cooks also had a great game. Russell Gage, what happened?
Missed both of his targets. Tough game.
And Kyle Pitts, man. What do you have, like 8? 8?
Yeah, underwhelming. He ended up with, I believe, 7 targets, 4 catches, 31 yards, 7 points. So a middle of the road for your tight end position.
Yeah,
with all those tight ends that pop, definitely want something more there.
Yeah, let's just cut to the chase here. Justin Jefferson, another middle of the road game. Vikings, they didn't do much. You ended up with 99.5
Couldn't even break 100
fantasy points. Now, if you take a look over here, you can actually see Delray Boston. You can see his score. His score is 138.78. So let's see how Delray Boston did. He won $8. Hey, within 5.
That's positive.
He won 8. As I predicted, betting on the Chiefs was a smart idea.
Yep.
Yes, Clyde the Glide here did not have a great game, but Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, 40 fantasy points.
Top receiver, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Number 1 receiver on the week. 25 points from Travis Kelce. I'll take it. And Jalen Waddle, who I talked about in the DFS article. We talked about it in the values piece last week. We even talked about it in our little half-hour pregame show. Jalen Waddle came through right there.
Great hit.
So a total of 138.78 DraftKings points. I think that makes me the winner.
It's 1 week. We got a lot more weeks to go. We got 17 more to go.
Yeah, I enjoy your positivity here. That's good. So
power positivity, baby.
Yeah, I think we'll do this again. We'll put in another lineup, but right now let's try and find some values for everybody when they're putting their lineups into DraftKings this weekend, because man, there is a lot. Just based on injuries and also some really wonky pricing that I personally found. So why don't you kick us off, Maddish like the radish? Let's see what you have cooking for us.
Absolutely. So we see the top priced quarterback on our main slates, Kyler Murray at 8,200. Outside of that, you really only got Josh Allen and Russell Wilson, who are over 7,000. So you're not paying a lot for a lot of the quarterbacks that are out there. We just that poor Atlanta game. We just saw Jalen Hurts go to town, rushing, throwing. We didn't know who he was going to throw to, but man, he found them all. He was much more accurate than I thought he was going to be.
You know who we found? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Another highlight from our DFS article this weekend, Devonta Smith.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So so he's coming in again at 6,500 against a San Francisco defense that, while, yes, they gave up a ton of garbage points, but we watched a very capable offensive line give Jalen Hurts all the time he needed to let the receivers get downfield. To whereas if he is going to be running, he's going to be running with everybody with their back turned against him. So he's got huge upside this week at 6,500. Jameis Winston, we saw what he did. He didn't even throw the ball that much. 5 touchdowns. Absolutely. 5 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
And he only threw maybe 20, 22 passes.
I think it was a total of 22.
Yeah, 22 passes. So, I mean, incredibly efficient. Obviously, it'd be great to get that again. Carolina, we just saw Zach Wilson throw for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. So very capable again against that, coming in at 6,100. We got Teddy Bridgewater at 5,400 going against Jacksonville. That is, we just saw what your boy Tyrod Taylor just did. Against that, against that defense. So I'm buying in again on Teddy Bridgewater this week. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
How about you?
Here's the thing that when I look at some of these prices, I do think that the Jalen Hurts price has a lot to do with the San Francisco defense, which is on reputation alone. Their secondary is a little bit banged up. So I do think that that's probably why he's there. I think if he was playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, he'd probably be over $7,000, just my opinion.
Agreed.
I think that my favorite play here is actually my man Baker. He had a tough loss last week, and now he's playing the Texans. I do believe, and I'm not
Houston,
speaking out of turn here, but I think the Texans are going to have a little bit of a different experience against the Cleveland Browns than they did against Jacksonville. I really like that price. Another guy I'm looking at here, believe it or not, is Joe Burrow. Okay. The Chicago Bears defense. They obviously underperformed against the LA Rams, but I think a big part of that is that the LA Rams have a really nice offensive line, and so do Cincinnati. I think that Joe Burrow is going to be throwing a lot. I like that price at 5,800. Believe it or not, I am in on Heineke. All right, I'm usually a Coors Light guy, but I am in on Heineke. I got to tell you, the New York Giants do not look great at all. I mean, their defense is decent. I'm not going to say anything. They have a decent secondary, but Taylor Heineke trying to make a statement there. He's got a lot of weapons: Terry McLaurin, Logan Allen, even Antonio Gibson. I think is going to catch more balls there. I think that's a nice play. The other guy, I really don't know why I keep going back to and keep going down to, is this guy, Justin Fields, in Chicago. Now, listen, this is a risky play. I'm not saying to play him. This is like if you're playing 150 lineups on this weekend, maybe throw one in there with Justin Fields. But, man, did he look different and good when he got in the game, the little time he did get in the game this weekend. And the Chicago Bears are not going to want to go 0-2 going into this season. I think we're going to see Justin Fields sooner than later. We might see him in week 2, and at $5,000, when you could get a guy with the potential to start maybe the second half or play half the game or 3/4 of the game, or maybe they name him the whole starter for the game. We don't know yet, but $5,000 for a guy with the legs that he has and the arm that he has, I think that's a great price too. But if we're going to start a lineup, where do you want to start here, man?
I like Baker. I think that's a great call on Baker. He's a great price, $6,000.
All right, let's talk about running backs. Who you like on the value running back side, man?
So Not a ton that I really saw in the running back department that I liked.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for the return of the King this week, King Henry at 8,300. I feel like is probably the best price we're going to get him at, and I think this might be his best game of the year.
Okay.
Going up against Seattle, they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to keep the ball out of Seattle's hands, as we saw them strike quick and strike deep. So I definitely see them leaning on Derrick Henry. He had a terrible game week one. Huge bounce back opportunity. This is the kind of game where he could score 2, maybe even 3 touchdowns, give you that return on that 8,300.
Yeah, we just saw Jonathan Taylor have a nice game against Seattle for Indianapolis. Right below him, though, is probably my favorite play on the entire weekend, Nick Chubb. Again, I think that the Houston Texans are going to be for a rude awakening after that big week 1 win in Jacksonville. And we literally saw Nick Chubb plow through the Kansas City defense. And if he can do that with Kansas City, I think that the Houston Texans are going to be like, Chubb to Houston Texans, hot knife, butter. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I did find a few that I really wanted to point out that I couldn't believe here. And the first guy is this guy, Melvin Gordon.
I agree, Melvin Gordon.
Did you see his big long run this weekend?
Showed some speed.
Yes, and now he gets to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
Let's see. Mark Ingram is a big waiver wire topic on fantasy. For weekly actual fantasy football.
Yeah, regular fantasy.
It took him 83. What is it? How was it? How many was it?
It's like 28 carries.
28 carries
for like 86 yards. Yeah, something like that. Yep.
I think Gordon still got a little pep in his step, and under $6,000 in that matchup. I love that. Another guy is Tyson Williams.
Tyson Williams.
Yeah, Tyson. He just had this fantastic game for a rookie, first real action in the NFL. Lots of problems in that backfield, a lot of drama there. He kind of cut through all that. I think he's going to have a great game against Kansas City. I think they're going to lean on him and probably Latavius Murray as well. Again,
right.
To the Nick Chubb point, we just saw Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have great games against Kansas City. I don't think that's going to change. I think Tyson Williams. I'm in the old fantasy garage and there's a mosquito buzzing around me. I think Tyson Williams is a great play. 5,500. I think that's crazy. And then the last guy I saw down here, believe it or not, is this guy, Chase Edmonds, under $5,000.
Now, if you're looking to the screen share, I'm still seeing that old lineup on there. I don't know.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I don't know if.
Oh, sorry, guys.
You got that going there. Yep.
Oh, okay. Let me hold on. Sorry, technical difficulties. Let me try and figure that out while I also chase away this giant.
Yeah, I see that coming at you hard.
Yeah, he's a real pain in the ass. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing I will say in regards to Melvin Gordon, him and Javonte Williams, complete 50-50 timeshare. So not really giving you too much of an idea of what the breakdown is going to be moving forward. You'd like to think that the veterans probably going to get a lot more to eat in, a game where they're probably going to be ahead. And then Javonte Williams probably comes in and finishes off, the rest of the game. But I'd be eager to see if Melvin Gordon, touches the ball upwards of 20 times in this game. He's definitely going to give you that return on value.
Well, he didn't need to do a lot last week.
Well, I mean, you take away that 70-yard touchdown, and he's got a mediocre day.
But do you not think he could pull off that 70-yard touchdown in a matchup he's in?
Sure, of course. You could probably pull off it. You could probably do it twice.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say. Under $6,000. But what I was just pointing out, and I apologize if I didn't know that the screen share wasn't working. That's my fault.
We're good. We're up now.
This guy, Chase Edmonds, right?
Chase Edmonds, I love him.
I love every piece of the Arizona offense this weekend against Minnesota, but I also like the idea that they might go after a little bit of a different game plan here. And I think that Chase Edmonds is very sneaky at under $5,000. Great flex play. He's just a guy I saw in the running back room. All right, so Moving on. Who we
I
got?
got one more running back I want to bring up,
Who
though.
we got?
One more running back. I want to bring up David Montgomery. I think he's going to have a
Yes.
great week against Cincinnati this week.
David Montgomery train, man.
Tons of touches this week, in my opinion.
Tons of touches. He's right here. Yeah, 6,100. Let's lock him in right now. I like that.
So, all right,
Okay.
let's.
All right, so what do you got for wide receiver?
All right, wide receiver. So, first person I am looking at is Keenan Allen, $7,000 against Dallas. We just saw Tom Brady dice up this defense. Keenan Allen had upwards of double-digit targets. I believe he had 14 targets, if I'm not mistaken, last week. I know it was somewhere in that range. No reason for that to change. He's going to be 13 targets. So 13 targets last game. He's going to be pumped the ball a ton in that offense with basically him and Eckler. I expect him to have a great game against Dallas.
Okay. I like that call.
Going back down, again, if you wanted to play into that Bears and Cincinnati game, Allen Robinson's coming in at only 6,200. Again, another game where I think Chicago is going to put up some points against Cincinnati. Allen Robinson, 11 targets last week. I love that double-digit target, especially in that PPR, getting a point for every reception. So he's a guy who I'm looking at in some of my lineups. Okay. Going down into the values, because this week is a week, like I mentioned, Derrick Henry before. I want to get some of my studs in the lineup. Okay. Two wide receivers I'm looking at. I'm looking at Tim Patrick against Jacksonville. I know I brought him up last week. He led their team in red zone targets, led them in touchdowns last year. He got into the end zone last week. Jerry Jeudy is gone now. So we're looking at more targets. We're looking at more touchdown opportunity. I think there's a good chance he gets into the end zone again this week and gives you great return on that 4,600. Another guy stepping in for injury, Cedric Wilson of the Dallas Cowboys. We know Michael Gallup's going to be out for a while. Dak Prescott's throwing for 400 yards every single game. Somebody else has got to pick that up other than CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Cedric Wilson's already a guy who they script 3 to 4 plays to try and get the ball into his hands when they were at full roster. So I know now with Michael Gallup out, I'm looking for him to touch the ball 6 to 7 times. I know last year he had a 2 touchdown game. So he's got that high ceiling potential. So he's another guy I'm looking at a great value at 3,100.
Yeah, those are great picks, man. You know who I really couldn't believe I saw this price tag on when I first took a look at this. Cooper Kupp, $6,000. Clearly has the eye of Matthew Stafford coming out of there. If you heard on Sunday Night Football, it turns out he had breakfast with Matthew Stafford that day. So I guess that there's a bigger relationship right there. $6,000 though for Cooper Kupp in this matchup against Indy. I'm not scared of that defense at all anymore. I think that's awesome. Another guy that I like coming down here, and I'll just go really quick down here. This guy here, Jamar Chase.
What a showing, huh?
What a show for a rookie coming out. He obviously, the chemistry is there with Joe Burrow. Chicago, the Chicago Bears, I think that it's not that they're not an easy defense to beat, but I do believe Joe Burrow is going to be throwing. He's going to be looking at this guy. I just think this is a fantastic value play. $5,000 alone, clearly the number one in that offense. I think he's one you got to highlight in your lineup. One more that I saw down here is this guy too. This guy, Zach Pascal. Yep. He came into this game, a lot of people, myself included, talking about Michael Pittman. Yep. Zach Pascal clearly has established himself as a deep threat with T.Y. Hilton, on the bench. And I think this is a great price there for Zach Pascal, $4,400. So we got to put a wide receiver in here. Who do you want to lock in, bud?
Let's see. With the values we're going, I think we can afford to go like Keenan Allen on this route.
Keenan Allen it is, and I'm going to take one here too. So hold on one second. Get Allen in there. This mosquito is killing me. All right, here we go. We're going to lock in Keenan Allen, and I'm going to lock in Cooper Kupp.
Okay, I like that. That's nice.
All right, cool. All right, let's talk about tight ends. So we got a lot of them. We got not a lot of them matter, but we do have a lot of them. So
well, there was a
like?
ton of tight ends. I got a ton of targets last week. But as far as where I'm starting off with Jared Cook, 3,900 against Dallas. We saw what Gronk did last week going over the middle of the field. Dallas is notorious at covering the middle of the field. Their linebackers just do not cover tight ends very well. 8 targets last week. I can absolutely see that repeating. I could see him getting in the end zone. I think 3,900, he gets you some great value. Going over to Noah Fant at 4,200 at Jacksonville. We already talked about that game. Noah Fant, great value stack with Teddy Bridgewater if you wanted to get some of your studs in there. And the last tight end I want to bring up is David Njoku going against Houston. And I think I think he's priced for a pretty big game as well. Last week, 5 targets there, 76 yards. He's a downfield threat. He's a big guy in the red zone, so another guy with big touchdown opportunity. So another good Baker stack, right there. With him. So yeah, that sums up my tight ends.
Yeah, the thing I always find interesting about Njoku is that he, for probably the first 3 seasons playing in this league, he was always like a darling that you hear people talking about because he's an athletic freak. Athletic freak. I will tell you, I'm a little concerned about the Cleveland pass catchers in the game with Houston. But that being said, I think Njoku is criminally undervalued at 3,600. But the guy I want to focus on here, because I think that it's going to be a game that he's going to be needed desperately to step up, is Logan Thomas.
Okay.
$5,100. Heineke. Yeah, Heineke, I have to assume, is going to be looking for his, really the number one's targets everywhere to go. I'm not worried about Terry McLaurin. If you saw that catch he made along the sideline after Heineke got in there, where he actually manipulated his body in midair to try and make that grab. But I also am not worried about Logan Thomas. He's a big target in the end zone. I think that's a great price for $5,100. Another guy I like is this guy, Bobby T. I do not see the Green Bay Packers having the same result against the Detroit Lions this weekend that they did against the Saints. I think all of that offense is going to take a major leap forward. Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and I also like Bobby T. Sitting there at $4,300. This is a guy that is an end zone target. He's an end zone threat, and Aaron Rodgers likes him. And so I think that's a good play too. I think that you mentioned Gronk. I mean, what does this guy have to do to get a premium tight end?
A 5,500 price tag.
This is what I'm talking about. Is like,
right.
I think that I don't know what the deal is with DraftKings pricing, but $4,700 for Gronk. We just literally saw how involved he was in that offense, and I just think that that's a crazy price. By the way, I forgot to mention.
Wow.
Before I forget, I did have one other wide receiver to talk about, and I'll just mention him really quick. Is Antonio Brown, $6,000, same price as Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And we saw what AB did this weekend too. I think that Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry have got to step up, but under $5,000 for those guys in very key roles in those offenses. Don't let this rank third thing scare you on DraftKings against the Jets.
Basically off of last week. So
that's silly. And then this guy too, Cole Comet. I was really impressed by what I saw in that game. At least with Andy Dalton in there, he was looking for Comet. He's clearly surpassed Jimmy Graham, thankfully, and taken his rightful place as the number one tight end there. I think that's a great value too. All right, so let's finish up with some defenses, and then we'll see if we can just build the rest of this lineup, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so defenses, we got the New England Patriots coming in at 3,700, going against a rookie quarterback and a division opponent. We've got the Saints at 3,100, going against a division opponent with a new quarterback. The Bears at 2,800, home against Cincinnati. And then I am also thinking about playing the Raiders at 2,800.
Interesting.
Against the Pittsburgh Steelers for some pick six potential in that one, or some fumble return for a touchdown potential in that game.
Yeah, I think the chalkiest play. I think that people would think that the chalkiest play is going to be the Cardinals after Chandler Jones's unbelievable performance last week.
Right.
But I really think the chalkiest is going to be the Browns against Houston. But still at $3,500, I'd eat that chalk.
Yes.
The way they started that game against Kansas City, if they can maintain that for 4 quarters against the Houston Texans, it's going to be a long day. Pack a lunch to Rod. Yep. That's all I can say there. I actually am going to go on the other side there. I like the Steelers against the Raiders.
Okay.
The Steelers absolutely, really threw a big time monkey wrench in a powerhouse team in the Buffalo Bills. So what are we going to see them do against the Raiders at home? Bayou. I don't mind playing the Giants against Heineke. But I do think that play is not really going to work out. I think they might be a little bit chalky. Cardinals, I just mentioned, under $3,000 after doing what they did this past weekend. Again, at DraftKings, what are you doing? I don't understand it, but I'll take it. $2,900. I also don't mind looking at the Dolphins, believe it or not.
Okay.
They're not the Steelers. Certainly, they're not the Steelers, but they are a pretty good defense. And I don't know. Maybe there's something a little bit more to that Buffalo game than just TJ Watt. You know what I mean? Take a chance on it. And then the last guy I'm going to point out, which is, I hate to say it, is actually the Jets. The Jets are now looking at this. If they can win this game, that means the Patriots have 2 division losses to start the season. Sets the Jets up into a much better position. Robert Saleh is the coach. We all obviously know his defensive mind. I don't mind taking a stab at the Jets at only $2,200 on the day. So that's some value at defense. Let's try and plug in a couple more pieces here. I did actually, excuse me for burping. I did do
no problem.
I did the full weekend slate.
I saw that. And that's something that a lot of the games that I play have to do like the 1:00 and 4:30 slate. So I those primetime games, they end up slipping by me. I got to make sure I'm paying attention to those.
I think the big thing is if you don't catch that Thursday, if you don't catch the contest that start Thursday night, you're okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Although this past obviously you're not always going to get a game like Tampa and Dallas had, but yeah. But in this case, I am going to I'm going to start my second RB here is going to be Tyson Williams.
Okay.
Partially because we get him on Sunday night, right? Sure. So I think there's going to be a lot of people not playing that game in this particular contest slate here.
Right.
So why don't we get a wide receiver fill that slot up, man?
Let's see here.
Let's try and go cheapies.
Yeah. Let's see.
Got Jamar Chase down here at $5,000. Oh, forgot to mention this guy, Christian Kirk
with the 2 touchdowns last week.
And I love that Arizona offensive. I talked about it. Is it possible that he's really kind of become that number 2 in that offense? He's certainly become kind of an X receiver with a lot of deep tosses. So that's great value too.
Yeah, let's Oh, I love me some.
How about your boy Tim Patrick?
Oh, I love me some Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
let's go ahead. Let's throw him in.
Jimmy Patrick against the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. Tight end. All right. So we'll have 4,900 to do this. So let's actually do the defense next because that's really going to help us save some money.
Yep.
So let's try and find somebody cheap here. Who do you like in this range right here? This under $3,000 range.
Under $3,000 range. Well, I like the Bears under $3,000. Let's see. Who else? I mean, I talked about the Raiders and their potential. You know what? Let's play the Dolphins. I like
the Dolphins. Dolphins against Buffalo. Going bold. I love it.
Let's go bold.
All right, so we get $6,100 left for a tight end. Who can we get?
I mean, let's see. We got Baker out there.
Sorry. So, yeah, we get $6,100 per player. We still got to find a flex. So who do we like? Let's try and get a top end tight end here.
All right. Well, I mean, it gets no more top end than Kelsey and Waller, so I don't mind going with Kelsey in this particular lineup.
All right, we got 3,800 left for a flex. So let's get down into our 3,800 range here, and let's see who we got. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
This is wide receiver territory here.
Yeah. It's also like double tight end territory.
Double tight end territory.
It's another big one. All right, we're almost there. 4,000, 4,000. Come on. All right, $3,800. First guy. Yep, right there. Austin Hooper.
Yep, Hooper.
Well, how about KJ Hamler taking a dark throw there? No more Jerry Jeudy on the field.
I mean, if we were gonna put Patrick and Hamler out there, I mean, we'd almost have to put Bridgewater in that lineup.
Yep.
How
about this guy, Cordell Patterson?
Cordell Patterson touched the ball a ton.
Touched the ball a ton, and he's versatile. They line him up at wide receiver and stuff. But I got to tell you, I just am not trusting that Atlanta Falcons.
I was going to say, especially not against Tampa Bay. Of that group there, I'd probably say Bryan Edwards stands out.
Okay.
Maybe take a shot at Randall Cobb if Jamison Crowder's not playing. Maybe we take another shot at Braxton Berrios.
I got to tell you, the Randall Cobb call, now that he's back in the slot for
against
Aaron
Detroit,
Rodgers, I like that. I like that a lot.
I missed that value. Again, that's the late night game. Yeah, that's some great value there.
Yep. Oh, how about this guy, Van Jefferson?
Van Jefferson, LQ's been talking him up. There's another guy I'd want to keep an eye on, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think his target's going to go up. I'd keep an eye on him as the season goes on.
Can you say that 3 times fast?
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. that's a heck of a name. I'm sorry.
Oh, you ain't kidding. But yeah, he's somebody, a lot of talent. I definitely keep an eye on him.
Well, why don't we make LQ happy? Why don't we go Van Jefferson?
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to actually take Cooper Kupp out because I don't want to double stack Rams receivers. I just feel like that's not going to work out too well.
Then, as you talked about the same price.
Yeah. Let's see. We got $6,300. Let's see if Antonio Brown fits into $600. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe he's only $6,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is. I think he is. If last I checked, but I could be wrong. Let's see, Antonio Brown, $6,000 fits perfectly. Remaining player salary 0. So we are completely no stacking at all here. But we are looking at values. We're using values to our advantage. We got a $6,000 Baker Mayfield going against the Houston Texans. Hey, it's going to be a slaughter. Bring your daughter to the slaughter. That daughter being Tyrod. We got David Montgomery, or as the fantasy footballers used to call him, David Mopportunity. I mean, he's gonna blow up. We got Tyson Williams, who I think is going to be key in that game against Kansas City. Keenan Allen, to your point, great game in week 1 coming up. Great game in week 2. Probably a shootout with Dallas. Antonio Brown, obviously a Brady favorite, and great hands. He's back, baby. Tim Patrick, no more Jerry Jeudy. Get out of the way. Right? Yeah. And then we got Travis Kelce on Sunday Night Football. Oh, cannot wait. And last but not least, we got Van Jefferson and the Dolphins. That's a value lineup right there. We wish you a ton of luck with your values this weekend in week 2. The one thing I'm going to say to you is that when you're playing values, you're using values to be able to put the studs in that you want.
Correct.
And not that a whole value lineup is going to do something for you, but I'm just telling you that's why you're using them, and that's why we're here to try and help you find them, help you cash money, help you win your contests like me, not like Lee. That rhymes. Hey, this is Real Deal Fantasy HQ DFS values for week 2. We'll be back on Saturday with our article for the DFS the whole weekend, and then Sunday maybe we'll do a little pregame show, make another lineup. Those are all some show notes. But anyway, Real Deal Fantasy HQ's got all of your fantasy football information, so make sure you're checking out that page. And Lee, have a great night. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
You too, guys. Make that money.